This video is dedicated to Deja Shade. A huge shout out to Deja Shade for supporting the channel. Koma Cosmos Serpent versus Breach's Brazen Plunderer, Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator, Phylath World Sculptor, and Volrath the Shape Stealer. We've got lands, and when I mulligan this, we're not going to get into lands, but I do want ramp in this deck. Plenty of it to draw into. Well, we could get a turn 3, either IC or Commander, probably get our Commander into play. I'll just keep this one and keep my fingers crossed. Alright, well, a Sol Ring, that is... what is that? We go turn 1 Sol Ring, throw down the Mana Vault, then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, so we can get down a turn 2 Commander. Actually, we won't have anywhere near enough colours, will we? Yeah, so it's at least a turn 4 Commander will be seen. Maybe get down the IC then. Either way, let's go for the Sol Ring on turn 1. And we can surprise our opponents with the Mana Vault into IC next turn. So we won't bother playing the Mana Vault just yet. And the only turn 1 play coming in the form of a Siren Storm Tamer from the Pirate player. And then the Storm Surge Kraken appears again. So we go for an island here. Throw down the Mana Vault. And then we can go for the IC and drop another land. And we'll just have to hope that we can keep it in play. And that will draw us a card, of course. And it's another sea creature. This is Sea Monsters Tribal, by the way, which is why we're seeing Leviathans and Krakens and Serpents, things like that. Got an Octopus now as well. Then a Farseek from Phylath. And the Pirates player just tapping out and passing the turn. Some black mana being held up over here, so there might be some removal on our turn. We'll drop a land straight away to try and avoid that. Not going to pay into the Mana Vault. And we draw into Nadir Kraken. So we'll throw down the forest, see if we can get ourselves into another land. No, we do get into a Wild Growth though. So let's put Wild Growth onto the untapped forest. And then we'll have 7 mana for our commander next turn if we keep the Sol Ring in play. So why don't we just go for the Storm Surge Kraken. Then we'll swing in at kills, because Phylath is very explosive, usually an underestimated commander. Then it is an Urza's Incubator, and that is Shapeshifter. So seeing some new Shapeshifter tribal cards from the new Kaldheim set. So we might be seeing some of those hit play with Volrath. And kills, surprisingly, just tapping out, doesn't have any kind of ramp spell. And then it is Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator for the Pirate tribal player. And the 1/1 flyer goes in towards Volrath. So it looks like we're getting down our commander next turn. Alright, a Sakura Tribuilder for a bit more ramp. I think we just take advantage of the fact that we can afford our commander here. And then we can offer up the block for the Pirate player, which I highly doubt they'll take. But if they do, we'll get to draw some cards. Icy can go in towards the Volrath player. And then next turn, if we manage to make it round to our turn again, with a bunch of creatures in play, we can start swinging in at kills again. Now Koma does trigger on each upkeep, so we'll get a 3/3 Serpent here. And Volrath just holding up mana again and passing the turn. And Impact Tremors, sign of things to come for kills. If he manages to make a land next turn, we'll be seeing his commander. So it might be worth sacrificing a Serpent and tapping down one of his lands during his upkeep next turn. Anyway, that's all he's got for us here, not having the best of luck over there. But this is a very good Phylath list from Billy Kills. Stunt double probably goes on our Koma. It does, so they get Serpents of their own. Seems as though every other game you play now seems to have clones in it. I don't know if we've noticed that on the channel or not. Don't know if this is Clone Tribal yet or not, but I think a lot of the clones are shapeshifters, so might be Clone Tribal yet again from one of our opponents. Captain Lannery Storm for the Pirate player. And then all the Pirates swinging in. So Lannery Storm will make a treasure token. And Yeah, we get the Flying Commander. The 1/1 flyer goes into the left. And then Billy Kills gets Lannery Storm. And that triggers the Commander. So getting a bunch more treasures. And sacrificing some of them to get a Coastline Marauders into play. Whenever it attacks, it gets +1 to its power for each land the defending player controls. That has Trample and Encore, so that is one to worry about. Might be another one that's worth tapping down. And we managed to get into a land, so we'll drop that straight away. And draw with the Icy. Gets us into a Cultivate. I don't mind ramping this turn, to be honest. And we'll grab ourselves some islands. Draw from the one that comes in tapped. Gets us into an Arcane Signet. We'll drop an island and draw again. That is our last land that we can make this turn. Now a Hydroid Krasis to get a flyer into play, maybe. Flying and Trample. I think I just want to keep concentrating on ramp. So let's get down the Sakura Tribe Elder first, because we might draw into something that we want to spend this mana on. Sacrifice that, and I'll get out a forest this time. Someone might blow up the Wild Growth land. And then we'll only have 2 greens, so let's just get another forest. And this time it is Lorthos, the one that freezes things for 8 mana. Okay, so we'll go through to combat. I want to leave the other Koma player alone for now, because we can really mess around with each other and screw each other's lands up and stuff like that, so yeah, I just want to leave them be for now. Offer up the trade again for that red pirate. And we'll go in towards the pirate player with the Icy as well. Koma going straight down the middle. So it's Koma going straight down the middle, the other two going in at the pirate player, because I want rid of that big red pirate. And they do decide to block with that, so that's really good, because we've got a lot of lands in play. Then we'll get down an Arcane Signet, and that can be our turn, I think. Might be able to get people to play around counters. Now a Nascent Metamorph, and this is whenever it attacks or blocks, target opponent reveals cards from the top until they reveal a creature and it becomes a copy of that. So it's looking like this is Shapeshifter Tribal, and deciding not to attack anyone over there. Missing lands, so the Koma is the only thing keeping them in play at the moment, I think. So now we don't want to see Phylath hit play, so as much as it pains me, I'm going to tap down the mountain by getting rid of Koma's Coil. One of the Koma's Coils. And yeah, he did have a land to make there. A Castle Embrith. Going for Eternal Witness onto the Farseek, and he'll probably play that this turn. And yeah, they go for the Farseek. So we'll probably see their commander regardless next turn. Yeah, I don't know if we'll continue to lock kills out of the game or not. It's not particularly fun, but I do know how good this Phylath deck is. Going for Encore with the Coastline Marauders, which is fine. I'll just sacrifice the one that has to come in at us, or sacrifice a Serpent to the one that's coming in at us. Let's sacrifice, tap down the one that's coming in at us, and the Volrath player ought to do the same thing. Deciding to counter that with the Siren Storm Tamer, so we'll just do it again. Managing to get rid of some of our Serpents at least. I suppose the Volrath player doesn't need to do that, because it would only have been a 3-3 coming in at him, so he could have just blocked with his commander. But it's damage that he doesn't have to take at least. So now the 2-2 comes in towards us. Lannery Storm goes into Billy Kills. And then this one has to come in at Billy Kills. Make a treasure token with the Lannery Storm. Coastline Marauders will get huge because there's a lot of lands over here. Oh, actually, the Volrath player tapped down the one that would have been going in at Billy Kills. So, yeah, the 3-3 coming in towards the Volrath player now, so it might be a bit of a 3-on-1 scenario, this. And the Nascent Metamorph blocking the what is now a 3-3 with Trample. And they target us, trying to get into a big sea creature of some form. And of course they get the Tatyova, so is that exiled now? All the revealed cards go on the bottom, so Tatyova has escaped us to the bottom of the library now. but they'll trade here at least, so they're not going to keep hold of Attack Yova. Then Malcolm, Keen-Eyed Navigator, will trigger. That is a couple of treasures with 5 cards in hand. And casting a Windfall. I am actually not against a Windfall because I'd really like haste for the Lorthos so that we can try and one-shot this player, because the Koma is going to be a big problem for us. Yeah, but we don't have the haste, so I'm actually okay with this. Everyone will draw 5 cards. Okay, Garruk's Uprising, a Breaching Leviathan. We've got a mana doubler. And then Coastline Marauders will be exiled at the end of the turn, leaving them with hardly any pirates. Now, if we manage to keep the Mana Reflection in play, it's actually going to be worth untapping the Mana Vault, because we'll untap it for 4 with the Sol Ring, and then tap it down for 6, but we don't have the Mana Reflection in play yet, so we'll not untap. And it is another land for us. Now, unfortunately, with this, we seem to have a lot of blue creatures in play, so I'm not sure how good it's going to be. Let's start off with the Mana Reflection. Then we'll play an island. And draw with the Icy. Kodama's Reach, alright. So we'll tap that down for 3. Let's go Kodama's Reach. Go for 1 of each. We'll put the island into play tapped. And draw another card. Alright, Stormtide Leviathan. All lands are islands in addition to their other types, and creatures without flying or island walk can't attack. So that's just a means of drawing the game to a stalemate. I was wondering about putting Wonder in here as a means of giving all of our stuff flying, but I didn't in the end. Let's drop... We'll drop a forest here and see what else we can draw into. Okay, Traverse the Outlands. Yeah, maybe we can go Traverse the Outlands. Then we'll have 2, 4, 6 and 7 mana left. But we'll draw a bunch of cards here, so let's go for this. Get to throw down 7 lands, which triggers the Icy 7 times. And there's a Force of Will for some protection, that's good. Fact or Fiction isn't awful. Get into a couple of ramp lands. And Prime Speaker's a Garnet as well. Yeah, so we're looking pretty good here. The 3 visits is free, so we'll get out a dual land with that. It's free when we've got the mana doubler in play because it brings in the land untapped. And we've drawn into the Attack Yova now as well after shuffling things around. And Arishkar's Expertise, okay. So I think we just go for Garruk's Uprising. And then we'll try and get through to our next turn. And do even more crazy stuff with all this double mana. A Spectral Sailor coming in with Flash. Our big creatures are going to have Trample thanks to Garruk's Uprising, so that's not going to do much of anything. We draw another card with the Garruk's Uprising thanks to controlling big creatures. Okay, and Crucible of Worlds goes very nicely. With a fetch land, we don't actually, in all of this, we haven't gotten into a fetch land, but we could have used Strip Mine. I'm not really into that idea though. So we'll go in at the Pirates player with these 2, I think. And then we can throw some of the Serpents in at Billy Kills. And then if we need to take a bit of a hit from the Koma player, then so be it. But I am worried about what Kills will do next turn. Blocking 1 damage from one of the Serpents. These do have Trample. And then no other blocks occurring. So knocking them down to 11 and 12. The right thing to do there is to take Billy Kills out, really, but I played a game previously today in which I knocked him out really quickly, and then we played another game and he knocked me out really quickly, so I'm just thinking of playing a bit more kindly here, even though I probably shouldn't. Let's get down the Crucible of Worlds, just so it's one less thing to discard. And then we're passing the turn, I think. We don't have a Gaia's Cradle we need to worry about yet, so I'll just hope that we can discard the Strip Mine and Crucible of Worlds if we need to. Get rid of Ancient Tomb as well. In fact, we'll get rid of... Can we just get rid of all the lands and hope that we hold on to the Crucible? We can always just draw a bunch of cards next turn and try and get into the lands. So we'll just discard 4 lands there. Volrath finally getting into another land. Unfortunately, it's a tapped Scry land. And then a Thornling. It can get haste, trample, indestructible, and then it can buff and debuff itself. No mana for that, fortunately for us. Now let's ask Volrath where he's swinging, because we will tap down some things here if he's going to swing in at us. Alright, so he said he's going to keep hold of his snakes, or, well, they're actually serpents, but he said he's going to keep hold of those and keep them back for blocks, so I'll take him at his word. And he is true to his word and doesn't swing in. And there is Phylath World Sculptor, so he gets 3, 6 and 7 plants. We can just tap them all down next turn with this if we need to. So I think we allow this. Then an exploration coming down, so let's see if he's got another land to make. Don't know if he has made a land yet actually, so this will be 2 lands if he's got them available to him. And there's the first one. And land number 2. And then a Goblin Bombardment, so what's he going to go for with a Goblin Bombardment? It's not a good idea to let your opponent have some form of a sack outlet, really. He's got 4, 5, 6 and 7 he can deal. Yeah, I don't want to, but I think... yeah, I'm going to leave the Goblin Bombardment. I've got a feeling I should counter that, but I'm going to leave that be for now. And we'll probably just have to get rid of kills during our next turn. Going straight through to combat on the Pirate's turn. Malcolm coming in towards us, and the 1/1 flyer goes in towards the Volrath player. So we go down to 2. And the Malcolm triggers, so getting into some treasure tokens. And that is Relentless Assault. So untapping the creatures and getting an additional combat phase. I think we allow that. And playing out a Shared Animosity, so they swing in with 3 pirates. Then it is +2 power to each of them. So that'll be 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7 potentially at us. So yeah, let's just allow this as well. And if we get knocked down to 13, then so be it. Well, all 3 are swinging in. The Malcolm's coming in at us, Lannery Storm is coming in at us, and this one is going in towards Billy Kills. So now there is a 4-2 in the air, a 6-2, and that's a 3-1. So we'll just block that with one of our Serpents. The Malcolm Keen-Eyed Navigator triggers again for a couple more treasures. And that is Captain Vargas Wrath. Whenever it attacks, pirates you control get +1 till the end of the turn for each time you've cast your commander from the command zone this game. And it's a really good finisher for pirates, but I don't think they're going to get round to their turn again. So now it's round to us. We are going to untap the Mana Vault this time because Sol Ring will tap for 4. And everyone's tapped out. We have ramped ahead of everyone this game, so I think we've got free reign to do whatever we want pretty much. Let's start things off with a Prime Speaker Zagana. Draw with the Garruk's Uprising, and then we'll draw 8 from Prime Speaker because the biggest creature is a 7/7. Okay, Pongify is good to keep hold of. I was hoping for the Lightning Greaves there for some haste. And there is a Great Henge we can get down for only 2 mana. So let's throw that down. And then we'll get the Tatyova into play as well for some more card draw when we start to play lands. That gets a plus counter, and we draw a card with the Henge. Now then, we've got the Scourge of Fleets. Return each creature your opponent's control with toughness X or less to its owner's hand, where X is the number of islands you control, so I think we might be able to do some good here. Make good use of that. We'll want some haste though still, so let's go for the Rishkar's Expertise. And with that we get a free permanent into play. Let's just go for the Parallel Lives. Then we'll throw down the Scourge of Fleets, and that will take everything back to everyone's hand pretty much. Draw with the Great Henge and the Garruk's Uprising. And there is the Lightning Greaves, so that's a bit more damage on this turn. Bounce the stuff back to our opponent's hands. Let's just, for the sake of being quick, go for Temple of the False God out of the bin. Draw with Icy and Tatyova. And tap that down for the Lightning Greaves. Greaves goes on to Prime Speaker Zagana just because it's bigger. And then we'll just throw down a Talisman with that floating mana. I don't think we've got much other haste in the deck. I don't think we've got Swiftfoot Boots in here, so I'm not going to play out anything else if we don't have to. Noteworthy that Kills didn't bother with the Goblin Bombardment. I think he's just allowing us to play this out for all of you. So it's exactly 8 onto Kills, exactly 5 onto Gilbert, who is on the right here, and then everything else can go in towards the Vorath player. So that should be that, I would think. Alright, and there we go, Sea Monsters managing to take everyone down. So if you were wondering if Koma was any good, then yeah, Koma is pretty good. The pirate player over here had a Port Razor in hand. We knew about the other cards because we've just bounced them back. Yeah, big thank you to my opponents for playing that out. I think someone said it in the chat before, but this is pretty much Simic doing Simic things. It's a bit hit and miss because it is Sea Monsters at the end of the day, but it is Simic still at the end of the day, so if you can do Simic things in ramping like crazy and then countering any problem spells, then you can pretty much do whatever you want within Simic at least. So like I said, big thank you to my opponents, big thank you to you for watching. Be sure to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed it. I'm tribalkai on the eedi-H channel. Thank you for watching.